Someone tells you something important. The words sound right. The logic checks out. But something feels off, and you can't explain why. Then they smile, and suddenly you relax. You believe them more. Nothing about the facts changed. But the real reason a smile can override an entire argument is far stranger than simple charm. Here's the first thing to understand. Your brain didn't evolve to evaluate statements. It evolved to evaluate faces. For most of human history, there was no way to verify a claim. No records, no fact-checking, no way to look something up. The only real-time data available to judge another person's intentions was sitting right in front of you, on their face. So your brain became extraordinarily good at reading faces, long before it became good at reasoning through arguments. Think about what a statement actually requires from your brain. Statements need to be parsed. Words have to be decoded, compared against memory, checked for logical consistency. That takes time and conscious effort. A face, on the other hand, gets processed almost instantly, often before you're even aware you've looked at it. Researchers studying social cognition, including work by psychologist Alexander Todorov, found that people form trust judgments about a face in roughly 1/10 of a second. 1/10. That's faster than you can consciously decide to pay attention. Your brain has already made a call before your rational mind even shows up to the meeting. Why would evolution prioritize speed over accuracy here? Because for most of human history, the cost of misjudging a face was often higher than the cost of misjudging a sentence. If a stranger approached your small band of early humans, you didn't have time to debate the semantics of what they said. You needed to know, immediately, friend or threat. A smile, historically, was one of the most reliable available signals of non-aggression. It exposed teeth in a controlled, relaxed way, the opposite of a bared teeth threat display. It softened the eyes. It signaled, in a way words couldn't fully replicate, that the person in front of you wasn't preparing to attack. This is where things get interesting. A genuine smile and a fake one don't look the same, even though most people can't consciously explain the difference. French neurologist Guillaume Duchenne identified this back in the 19th century. A real smile, now called a Duchenne smile, involves not just the mouth but the muscles around the eyes, the orbicularis oculi, creating those small creases people call crow's feet. A posed or insincere smile usually only moves the mouth. Your brain picks up on this distinction unconsciously. You may not be able to say why a smile felt warm or hollow. But some part of you registered it. So when someone smiles while making a claim, your brain isn't just processing the sentence anymore. It's running a parallel evaluation. Does this face look safe? Does it look honest? Is this person relaxed around me? And because that facial evaluation happens so much faster than logical evaluation, it tends to color how you receive everything that comes after it. Psychologists call this the halo effect, when one positive trait, in this case a warm expression, causes you to unconsciously assume other positive traits, including honesty and competence, even when you have no actual evidence for them. Here's the twist that makes this stranger still. Studies on persuasion have repeatedly found that the emotional tone of a message often predicts whether people believe it more strongly than the actual content of the message. Researcher Paul Ekman, who spent decades studying facial expressions across cultures, demonstrated that certain expressions, including smiling, are recognized and trusted across virtually every human culture studied, suggesting this isn't a cultural habit you picked up. It's closer to universal hardware. This also explains something people notice but rarely question: why a confident, smiling liar can be more persuasive than a nervous, accurate truth-teller. Your brain isn't built to detect truth directly. It's built to detect safety signals, and a relaxed, warm face has always been one of the strongest safety signals available. Someone telling an accurate but anxious-sounding statement can trigger your threat detection system simply through their tense expression, even if every word out of their mouth is correct. Now here's the modern mirror, and it's worth sitting with for a moment. You live in a world saturated with statements. Headlines, advertisements, arguments online, strangers making claims with no face attached at all. Your evolutionary toolkit for trust was built almost entirely around face-to-face interaction, in small groups, where lying had real social consequences and faces carried real information. Today, an enormous amount of information reaches you stripped of any face whatsoever. Text on a screen. A username. A logo. Your ancient trust system, built for reading expressions in real time, has very little to grab onto in those moments, which is part of why misinformation spreads so effectively online. There's no smile to evaluate, no eyes to read, just words competing for belief with none of the facial cues your brain evolved to lean on. And when a face is present, even a manufactured one, like a brand mascot, a spokesperson, or a stock photo of someone smiling reassuringly, your old trust circuitry still fires, regardless of whether the smile means anything at all. Marketers have known this for decades, even without naming the neuroscience behind it. A warm, smiling face attached to a claim measurably increases how believable that claim feels, independent of whether the claim is true. So the next time you find yourself trusting someone the moment they smile, even though nothing about their argument actually got stronger, you're not being naive. You're running an ancient, mostly accurate shortcut, one built across hundreds of thousands of years of face-to-face survival, in a world that has only recently started filling itself with claims that have no face attached at all. The smile didn't make the statement true. It just made your oldest, fastest system whisper that it was safe to believe. Someone tells you something important, and you find yourself believing it, not because the words convinced you, but because a face already had.